What's up, YouTube? Today we're going to be looking at a bit of a spicy pick in the new season, and I know it's early to call things spicy, but there's a reason we're calling it spicy, and you can see it right away. I've got the PvPoke ranking for this Pokemon. That's right, we are going to be looking at Metang today, the non-shadow Metang, and I'll get into why we're going to look at the non-shadow Metang. It's got some pretty cool matchups. You'll notice it beats Wigglytuff, Jumpluff, CLODSIRE, and Azumarill. Now you might be wondering, how in the hell is a Steel type beating a CLODSIRE? Now you have to remember it has Psyshock for coverage, which is a psychic move and is super effective on CLODSIRE. And you can see the damage per energy there towards the bottom. Metal Claw did get buffed this season, and that's why we're looking at this Pokemon in general. It's got decent energy generation and decent energy damage, so it's an okay move. It is a two-turn move. And Metang, as you can see by its stats, its defense and stamina are nice. It is a bulky Pokemon hitting over that 2,000 overall stat product, which is great. And yeah, so we're going to actually look first, before we get into the video, at the individual matchup it has against CLODSIRE, because that is going to be really important during this meta, CLODSIRE being the #1 ranked Pokemon in the Great League right now. So, as you can see, you can survive a super effective Earthquake, which is huge, and you actually outpace to the Psyshock versus their Earthquake. Even if they bait, you're going to outpace. So, I think the only time CLODSIRE can win this is if it's the rank 1 CLODSIRE and it will survive that last Psyshock, I believe. Otherwise, even if it's the rank 2, I think, I believe Metang wins this matchup. So, let's just take a look at how it does in the current meta. So into the first match, we're up against a Primarina, recent Community Day. People are still trying it out. It is on Charm, so that's a bad matchup. They get into Talonflame, so I come in with Azu. Yeah, so a little bit about the team building for this team. Obviously, Metang is weak to Fire. It is weak to Dark. So that is why we have Azumarill in the back. It's also weak to Ground, which Azumarill can cover with both Water and Ice coverage. And yeah, so the Steel typing double resists Poison, the Poison Sting on CLODSIRE, which is huge. And then Gligar as a safe switch. You'll notice we're using Fury Cutter, and that is just because Wing Attack got nerfed. Fury Cutter has the same, like, it has really nice energy generation, so we're using that here. I think in the future I want to re-look at Gligar. You'll notice that I have Dig and Aerial Ace on here, even though that's not what I was using in this first match. And then I think the first half of these battles I'm using Night/Aerial Ace, but I felt like not having a nuke later in the battle, especially something that couldn't hit steals, was going to hurt me. And I felt like I missed it a couple times, so I ended up switching to Dig later in later matchups. But anyways, into the next match, we got a Dunsparce on the lead. We're going to build up till they make it to the Drill Run and try and catch on the Gligar. Were we successful? We were. So that's huge. That wastes a lot of energy. I think for Gligar, I want to look at Purified Gligar with Fury Cutter, Night Slash, and Return. I think that would be an interesting pick. If you don't have the Purified, I think Fury Cutter, Aerial Ace, Dig is fine. Fury Cutter is obviously super effective against Dark, which is one of Metang's weaknesses, and then Dig has good coverage against most of the flyers in the meta that aren't Talonflame. So that's kind of the reason we had Gligar there as the safe switch. Obviously, you do struggle against like a Feraligatr lead, just because that is super effective Shadow Claws and then super effective Hydro Cannon on Gligar. So you'll see how we play that matchup out later, I think, in this video. We go for another catch on the Dunsparce. We are unsuccessful. This time they come in with the Crest. So we are kind of getting triple hard countered in this game. But let's see if we can play it out. This is a long matchup between Azu and Crest. You can survive 2 grass knots and they cannot Psycho Cut you down before you make another move. So that's one of the benefits of Azu here. And obviously we're going to be saving all of our shields for Metang in this matchup, because if we can get a full Metal Claw down, we could potentially win this matchup. But the switch timer, it's quicker now, so they are able to come right back in, and I think they're almost at back-to-back drill runs. But you'll notice after I shield up this drill run, they're going to have another drill run. And Metang survives this, and then they can't farm us down with rollout. So yeah, Metang, pretty darn bulky Pokemon. It's got okay pacing, like it's not terrible. But yeah, they've still got the shield, and then they come back in with Crest, and then they farm us down, and then I believe we're unable to get the farm down before they make another move. Yeah, Metal Claw just barely not doing enough damage there, but it was like 1 or 2 turns away from victory there. And then there's the timer, and that's because Metang's bulky, Azumarill's bulky, and Gligar's got some decent bulk with a non-shadow. Malamar. So here is a lead where I probably, instead of trying to catch the foul play, should have just come in immediately on Gligar and just gotten off those Fury Cutters. But they actually come in with Quillfish. This is only an Aqua Tail, so I'm going to let this go. But wow, I mean, that is a lot of damage. Quillfish is really attack weighted, and you feel that. But because Poison Sting is resisted, we can actually make another Night Slash here. So we actually force a shield, which is huge. Probably going to come back in with the Metang. All they can throw is Aqua Tails, because this is not the version that knows either Dark Pulse or Shadow Ball. So we're just going to get off the Side Shock before they get to the next Aqua Tail. That takes it out. They come in with, I'm forgetting the name, Marowak. Shadow Marowak there. And now we've got a Pokemon in the back in Azumarill that can actually beat both Pokemon, so that is huge. There is nothing they can throw at me here. So we are just going to take out this Malamar. You can see that new Psywave animation. It is something. But now we're just going to get all these bubbles off, probably get to a move. May as well go for the harder hitting Play Rough. And then we've got 2 shields, and they are 1 Psyshock away from death here. So even if they go double Bone Club, we should be able to outpace because we've got that residual energy, and they don't even make it to a second one. So we get the Psyshock to take them out. Yeah, this team surprised me. It was really, really strong. Pangoro, this is another matchup where I try and catch the Night Slash on 4. They're throwing energy anyways, this can only be a Night Slash, so they're chipping and dipping, and then they come in with a Marowak. Everyone's trying out the new Pokemon, and this is Shadowbone, and it will cost a lot to get to, so I'm going to shield this up and potentially fight for Switch, just because I do have the pacing advantage in this matchup. And they actually let the Night Slash go, but I'm not going to be able to farm them down with Fury Cutter before they make another move. So I throw another Night Slash to force the shield at least before I go for the Fury Cutter down. And I get it, which is massive. And then they come in and they snipe with Pangoro, but that is fine because now they're going to be switch locked on my Azumarill, and we actually save the Gligar, so that is massive. And we're just farming up here because there is nothing this Pangoro can do unless they go for a Night Slash and boost and then get a close combat. That would probably be the only scary scenario. But they don't. They go straight close combat. They let me take them out. And it is a Skuntank in the back. So we will get off that Ice Beam. They shield. Play Rough is neutral healed too. So I actually go for the catch there, but I'm unsuccessful. They timed it well. They get the crunch right before we get to the next move. I can survive a crunch on the Metang, so I'm not too worried about it. you're going to see the bulk of Metang coming back in. No one else is looking at this Pokemon, I can guarantee it. And obviously, Psyshock is resisted here because Dark double resists, even though it is super effective on the poison. And we actually snipe with the Fury Cutters, with the Gligar, and we make it to a Night Slash, and we take out the Marowak. So that is huge. These are still early battles, but you'll notice that a lot of my opponents are actually pretty good now. I go for a Brutal Swing catch on the Guzzlord. Unsuccessful. Maybe should have just come out right into the Gligar here, just because of that super effective Fury Cutter on the Dark typing of Guzzlord. But they're staying in this matchup. I know I can survive another move here, and I can probably make it to another Aerial Ace, which I can, which is huge. This might just barely take out, and if it doesn't, the Fury Cutter will before their Dragon Tail. So that's huge. So we win switch, which is massive because they've got a Feraligatr in the back, and that is not a Pokemon Metang wants to see. This is still a losing matchup for Azu, but everything they throw here is resisted, so I'm able to take that damage and force shields at least. And they actually make a really nice catch, and they sneak the charm through on Wiggly. But we've got a Metal Claw user in the back, and look at these Metal Claws chunk, and look how little their charms are doing. So I actually getting a Psyshock off here before they even make it to the Icy Wind. And then I'm going to shield this because I have 2 shields, and I only need 1 for Azu, especially if I can force the last shield. That is all I need, is to force the last shield from this Feraligatr, and now I can come in, no matter what they throw, they'd have to make it to 2 moves before I can get this play rough, and so I will outpace and take them out. And there is a 5-0. I don't know if these matchups were in the right order, but another great lead in Abomasnow. We're super effective Metal Claws, and everything they have is resisted. They come in with Feraligatr. Once again, this is a losing matchup, so they can fight for switch if they want to. I'm not baiting here. I'm just going to go straight play rough. There's no point in baiting, especially if they called it. It would be pretty bad. But they shield. They're going to get to 2 more Hydros before I get to my next move. And it looks like that will take out after the Shadow Claw damage. So I do want to force at least the last shield before they take me out. And that is just because I can switch into the Gligar here, and I will get to an Aerial Ace before they get to the next Hydro. So they're forced to come back in with their Abomasnow. And now, because I have that energy lead, I can make it to 2 Aerial Aces before they make it to an Icy Wind. If they were running Weather Ball, this would have taken me out, but fortunately, they're on Icy Wind. So we outpace, and if they come back in with that Feraligatr, which they do, I'm going to catch the Hydro onto the Azumarill, and if they're still switch locked, I can come immediately back in with the Gligar, but I am waiting the switch timer here, which is kind of interesting. But we do get to the Night Slash. They were going to get to the move, so I had to get it off the Night Slash, and they actually live with 1 HP, and they have a Gastrodon in the back, so that is unfortunate. My Metang doesn't have a whole lot of play into this team, unfortunately. They're forced to throw a move, and unfortunately, Metaclaw being resisted, Mudslap doing huge damage, and Psyshock doing just not enough damage here to this Gastrodon. I'm going to lose this matchup, unfortunately. But did a lot of jumping around there. It was a close matchup. We probably made that as close as we could have, just alignment-wise. Bad lead. We're going to throw 1 Metal Claw, then dip, deferring that damage onto the Gligar. They come in with Gastrodon to our Gligar, and then they don't even build up to a potential Water Pulse. So I am going to play out this matchup and probably win switch. There's very little they could do going straight Mud Slap Body Slam against my Gligar just because I'm going to outpace. Unfortunately, we are not boosting. We cannot boost for the life of us. And it looks like 1 Night Slash will not take out from this range, so I'm just going to go for an Aerial Ace to finish the job. That does expose our full move set, but then they come in with Azu. We're going to get off these aerial aces to try and take them out. They bubble us down, that is okay. We can just come in with the Metang, and now we've got our Azumarill on their Talonflame. Even if they Brave Bird here, we are surviving this. Azu is so tanky. And we will go for Ice Beam on perfect timing. They shield for some reason. This is probably just out of farm down range for Metal Claw, so I will shield this up and then get the bubble down because now it's even shield scenario and I've got Metang in the back, so they are not winning that game. For Alligator, bad lead. So I am taking the super effective Shadow Claws. I'm staying in this matchup because I don't have a choice. And I'm gonna, I think, try and catch the next one right as they get to it on Azumarill, which is good. We at least waste some energy there, but of course they're gonna have an answer to Azumarill. So far this is really hard countered, unfortunately. We do have a lot of stored energy on the Metang, but there is no chance we are winning this matchup. We're only gonna get to one move here, so we may as well throw the Play Rough. They take that very comfortably. They still have switch and a shield advantage, which is unfortunate. I can at least come in with the Gligar here and soak up the energy. Looks like our fast move was denied there, but it's not the end of the world. It's one turn. And then they come in with Feraligatr, which is good for us actually, because we should be able to outpace here. I do switch in to Metang, and then I do shield. It looks like it was a CMP tie that we lose. And it looks like we can get the perfect farm down here, which is massive. They're going to come back in with the Charge Bug, I imagine, just to force my energy, and they do. I'm too low, so I have to throw this energy. Maybe I should have stayed in with the Gligar against the Feraligatr and just tried to play it out, but I believe because they had a shield advantage, it wouldn't have mattered. And they still have a shield, so I need to make it to 2 moves here, and I'm not going to make it. So their Trevenant, he's going to take me out with a Shadow Ball here, and we're going to lose that game. Tough loss, but it is what it is. Quagsire in the lead. This is another matchup where we have to stay in. And it looks like they're actually on Water Gun, so still seeing a lot of interesting things towards the beginning of the season. I mean, this could be a legitimate option just because Mudshot got nerfed, but Mudshot on Quagsire is still better. And then they come in with Raichu, so this is probably just a lower skilled player. And they actually hit me with a Skull Bash, which does a lot of damage and actually puts me in farm down range if they double shield here. So we might be in a bit of a difficult situation. But they actually let that go. Oh, actually, they are out of shields, so yeah, they have to let that go. We take them out. We've got a 2 shield advantage, and we win switch. So now we're just going to put our Azu on this Quagsire. Probably just a Stone Edge. But they're actually running Sludge Bomb. So now we have to shield this. And we should be able to take them out, but they come in with a Venusaur. I hold on to my energy. They do not get the catch of the Play Rough. And now we can just farm them down. There is nothing they can do. Grass single resisted and Poison double resisted there. So next lead, we've got a Machamp. I go for a Cross Chop catch. I am unsuccessful, but then they throw anyways. And they're actually running Rock Slide. So they just chip and dip. And then they come in with Dunsparce here. Last season, this team would have gotten screwed by Annihilate, but Annihilate nerfed into the ground now. I do want to take a look at Annihilate again, maybe just with like Night Slash and Ice Punch, so we can get to the moves a little bit quicker, because Counter is still a good damage move. It still has decent energy. It's not great, but they end up winning switch here. They take me out with the Dunsparce. What am I going to do? Am I going to come in with the Metang? I am. I'm probably going to go for a 1 shield farm down here. Looks like that is what I'm going to do, which is great because now we come out with a lot of energy to pressure this Machamp. And we go back-to-back Side Shock, so they either have to let this go and lose a Machamp, or used both shields, and now we come in with Azu, and then they have a CLODSIRE in the back, but they were so slow on the switch that they let me get way ahead on energy in between the bubbles and the ice beams. I should be able to take this out. They do CMP time me here. I was fine with letting that go, and it's another Sludge Bomb. I think we honestly might see more Sludge Bomb CLODSIREs as the season continues, because Gligar isn't everywhere anymore, and that's the only reason people would run Stone Edge. And we will outpace. Well, not outpace, but we have a shield, and we can just shield that up. And on CMP, we got the Ice Beam off to win the game. But yeah, I mean, Sludge Bomb and Earthquake used to both be resistant on Gligar, and that's why people ran Stone Edge last season. But without as many Gligars, I think it's got more potential on Sludge Bomb. Anyways, jump off lead, that's a great lead for us. Everything's resisted. They come in with Malamar. We come in with a Azumarill, and now everything is resisted again. And so they're just getting off as many moves as they can. I'm fine with letting this go. I believe one Play Rough doesn't take out on Malamar. It's actually got some sneaky bulk to it, but they shield anyways. I don't know why, because we outpaced to the next move. And even if they wanted to win Switch, I don't think it would be the end of the world at the cost of 2 shields, but they let it go, and then they come back in with Jump Left. They're counting, and they take us out with the Aerial Ace right before we get to our move. And then they come in with CLODSIRE. And this is where Psyshock is great coverage for this Pokemon. And then I think I go for an Earthquake catch onto my Gligar, which is massive. And we are successful. And at that point, the game is over. There's nothing they can do here. They can throw 2 Stone Edges, and it looks like it won't take me out. So even if they decide to shield this for some reason, yep, I believe a Stone Edge won't take us out. And even if it does, I don't really want to shield here because I don't want them to snipe with the Jump Left. And then they come back in with the Jump Left anyways. They have no shield, and I have 2. There is nothing this Jump Left can do. Acrobatics, Energy Ball, it's not going to hurt. But I'm not going to shield the first one in case the Energy Ball drops my defense. So I let the first one go, and you see that did literally nothing to my Metang. And I think, yeah, I can let another one go because they have 0 farm down potential between Fairy Wind and Poison Sting. So I'm only going to start shielding now. And now that I'm at the back-to-back Psyshocks, I can just take out the Jump Left and take out this. Oh, I guess I wasn't there, but I get there in one more turn, and I had the shield, so I was going to win either way. So yeah, Metang really surprised me. I thought the Metal Claw buff was cool, but I didn't think it really affected too many Pokemon. I think a lot of people were really focused on Empoleon for good reason, but I think this being a bulky Pokemon with it is kind of a sneaky pick, especially with it being so low ranked in the PvPoke rankings. But into the next match, I think we had a okay lead. I forget what it was, but now they come in with Feraligatr, and I really want to flip this matchup because I believe it was a Malamar, and they have nothing to throw on Azu, so I'm going to use 2 shields here. Because I also have pretty bulky Pokemon, so I'm okay with using 2 shields in the mid-match, and especially because they also commit 2 shields. So now I'm just going to come in with Azu and go for an aggressive Bubble Down. Nothing they can throw here is going to hurt. So they are going to get off this Hydro Cannon. I will let it go, and then they come in with Machamp, which can't do anything against my Azumarill. So they're ABA weak to Fairy, and there's nothing they can throw here, so that is game. CLODSIRE, we finally get to see the matchup. So they actually switch into Machamp, so I guess they know that's a losing matchup somehow. And either that or they're just not running Earthquake. They might be on like Sludge Bomb, Stone Edge. But yeah, so this Machamp, they land the Stone Edge, they shield the Ice Beam, so it looks like they might try and flip Switch. And because I'm thinking they might try it, I call the bait here, and it is the cross chop. And so I get off that Ice Beam to take them out. Not even sure Stone Edge would have taken me out there, but regardless. So they're obviously going to get a Poison Sting down, and then they're going to have a bunch of energy. And I will be worried about an Earthquake, especially when they're up energy. So I actually might come in Gligar here, hoping that they blind throw the Earthquake. And they don't, I think. I think they end up throwing the Stone Edge. Yep, they do. So either they were baiting or just going for the Stone Edge here. And then we will outpace to the next Stone Edge, so I will get off this dig. I forget when I switched it over, but you can see we've got the dig now. And then they've got Pangoro in the back. I accidentally CMP instead of throwing one turn before. So I will get off this Aerial Ace just to force the last shield. And then I will come in with my Metang. I know I can survive one Night Slash, and I'm going to let the first go in case they boost. But I still should be able to outpace regardless. And finally, we're going for the Gyro Ball here. Psyshock would be resisted, double resisted on the dark, super effective on the fighting, so net single resisted. Gastrodon lead. This is pretty tough for this team, but we can come in with the Gligar, and it looks like they don't have an immediate answer, which is good. But then they come in with CLODSIRE. And they're right, that is not an immediate answer. This is a pretty strong matchup for Gligar. It's going to be really hard for them to flip this, especially with me up energy. That being, oh, and they throw the Earthquake. So now I'm thinking they're on Sludge Bomb Earthquake. So we found, I don't know why they would switch into this matchup, but yeah, I think they're on Sludge Bomb Earthquake. They shield, so I'm letting this go. And it actually is the Stone Edge, but we survive on 1 HP, which is massive. We get off the dig, but it doesn't quite take out, which is unfortunate. But I believe I can Metal Claw them down before they make it to another move, which is awesome. And then they come in with Mandibuzz here, which is a great matchup for Azumarill. They can only go for Aerial Ace, and Snarl is resisted. So I'm going to go for an Ice Beam because I know I need 2 moves to take out here. And they shield. I'm still not going to shield anything. We saw how little damage Aerial Ace does on Azumarill. So now we can get off this Ice Beam. And we need this Azumarill to have 2 shields against this Gastrodon. Because that is probably the only way we can win this. They get off the Body Slam. We're going to go for Play Roughs here because they do a little bit more damage. Shield this up. Another Body Slam. And I believe they actually outpace here. I could have caught the Body Slam on my Metang, but it doesn't matter. We can survive any move here. Dark Pulse is super effective, but look at the bulk of Metang. Get off the Gyro Ball. We still have a move loaded on the Azumarill in case they farm us down, but we actually get a double resisted Psyshock. Will it take the Mandibuzz out for this range? It does. And so that is a great win against a Gastrodon lead. This is either the last or the second to last battle. I think it's the last, potentially. We've got a Dunsparce in the lead. We're trying to go for the Drill Run catch. We are unsuccessful. They hold onto their energy and then they get the dig. But then they come in Malamar, and here's where Fury Cutter is excellent. It is double super effective. It's super effective on Dark. It's super effective on Psychic. So it is doing double super effective damage on this Malamar, and it is adding up. And I believe I can survive another foul play here and still get the Fury Cutter farm down before they take us out with Psywave. And that is huge. We flip the lead. We get another dig off onto this Dunsparce. So now our Gligar has put in so much work. It's taken out 1.5 Pokemon. We're going to come in with a Azumarill. They're going to get off this Drill Run. And they're obviously going to outpace us to the next move. Another Drill Run. We're going to take all these moves on Azumarill. They're at another Drill Run. I'm gonna let all these go, get this Ice Beam off to take it out. We go for an undercharge here so that we can get a little bit of bubble farm, but then they have a Primeape in the back. This is the first Primeape I've seen of the season, but we already had a Psy Shock loaded. I can let one move go, one Night Slash, one KO. It would be scary if they boosted because then the Karate Chops might do enough damage. But we should be able to get to either 3 Psy-Shocks or 2 Psy-Shocks and a Play Rough on the Azumarill, so I'm not too worried. I still have a shield. They would need to make it to back-to-back. They go for a catch. They don't know the counts on Metang, which is another one of the benefits of this Pokemon, and we take that win. And then that's back to the front. So yeah, Metang, absolute legendary Pokemon. I actually had so much fun running this Pokemon, and this team is bulky. It's got a great core with Azu, and Gligar fits as a great safe swap. I do really want to look at Purified Gligar with Fury Cutter, Return, and Night Slash. I think that will have a lot of play because I think Dark coverage has a lot of play in this meta. I think it does kind of make sense to have Aerial Ace on Gligar though, just because of what your lead is weak to. But so maybe that would be another video. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Try out Metang if you've got one. Great Pokemon, super underranked on PvPoke, and very bulky. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.